It's almost New Comic Book Day again, so let's take a look at the books coming out and talk about what's on the pull list. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the pull list. This is my weekly video where I look at what books are coming out. I tell you what's on my pull list, what's on the chopping block, and what's on the maybe list that I'm making a game day decision on from this week's releases. This week, we're looking at the books coming out February 1st, 2023, and it's a pretty exciting release week. And maybe I'm biased because I think comics are dope, but I'm excited about what's coming out this week, and I wanted to go ahead and share it with you. So let's start with the books that I am most excited for. And this week might be surprising for you, but this is Miles Morales issue number 3. Miles Morales, written by Cody Ziglar, with art by Federico Vincentini. Listen, the reason this is my most anticipated book this week is because I love Federico Vincentini's artwork. Like, looking at his Miles pages, like, I have not seen a better looking Spider-Man page since I started reading comics in 2019. Like, that, it's about the highest praise that I could give Spider-Man art. Patrick Gleason is definitely up there, but anyway, I'm loving the art, and the story's actually going somewhere. So we've got a brand new villain named Rabble, who is a Miles villain, like just a straight up Miles villain. We haven't gotten a showdown between Miles and Rabble just yet, but she seems to have his card. She's got his number. She knows like what buttons to press, and she seems to be a formidable opponent. And that's really all anybody wants from a Miles book. Like, give him his own rogues gallery, give him his own challenges, give him something that separates him from Peter. And so far, Cody Ziglar is delivering. So Miles Morales Spider-Man number 3 out this week with a cover price of $3.99 from Marvel Comics. I'm grabbing cover A. So since we are talking about Marvel Comics, let's talk about the rest of the Marvel Comics on the list, starting with a rather disappointing Spider-Man book. This is the Dark Web finale, issue number 1. It's a one-shot. I don't know why. Just call it the finale. But anyway, the Dark Web event, I've been sort of up and down on, not really up, just I've been annoyed that it's a thing, right? We've got this Spider-Man title, and they've been teasing like, oh, what's going on with Peter and Mary Jane? Why does everybody hate Peter? La, 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 right? And instead of answering that question, we got this Dark Web event with Madeline Pryor and Ben Reilly just kind of in the middle of everything. And it's not terrible. Ed McGuinness has been doing the Spider-Man fill-in books, so I've been enjoying his art and just kind of how wacky the story is with the demons and Limbo, and looking at friggin' demon-possessed staplers or whatever is taking over New York City, and that's been cool on its own, I guess. But all in all, I'm just ready for Dark Web to be over, so I'm excited for this finale in that way. It's finally over. This one's got a cover price of $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the next book on the Marvel Comics pull list is another one that's kind of up and down for me. And this is Wakanda issue number 5. So Wakanda is, for all intents and purposes, an anthology series, each issue with a different writer and artist team. This time around, we've got Brandon Thomas writing a story featuring Okoye. Now, if Brandon Thomas wasn't one of my favorite writers in comics, would I be as excited about this? Probably not. Would I be buying it anyway? Yes, because Evan Narcisse and Natasha Bustos have been doing these backup stories, retelling the history of all the Black Panthers, and I have been absolutely loving that. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the final issue of the Wakanda anthology, so it's dope. Wakanda number 5's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Next up, and the last book on Marvel Comics pull list this week is X-Force issue number 37. Now, I can't even lie. Just looking at, X-Force, I'm seeing things that like have been teased forever. This dude in like the Xeno halls, the dude with the peacock tattoo, like all this looks familiar to me. But I just feel like the story in X-Force has been dragging, and part of that is because they keep interrupting it with all these events. When there's not an event going on, X-Force is a compelling book. But events just keep happening. So I'm behind on XForce, but issue 37 is out this week with a cover price of $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And that's it for the Marvel comics on my pull list. So if I just stick to the list, and honestly, there's nothing else super appealing to me at Marvel this week. So my Marvel comics are going to cost me $17 this week. Now, let's move on to the distinguished competition. Let's go to DC Comics, where there are only 2 books on my list this week, starting with DC Power, A Celebration, issue number 1. This is a one-shot anthology celebrating Black History Month. So even just looking at the cover, we've got appearances by a ton of characters. We got Jackson Hyde, we got Val Zod, we got Black Wally West, we got Black Lightning, Nubia, John Stewart, Jace Fox, Batman, we got Joe Mullen, we got Cyborg, we got everyone, right? And I expect that they're all going to make appearances in this book. But what kind of sucks about this for me, not to like rain on anyone's parade, this is very much a celebration of Black superheroes, Black characters, and Black comic creators. We got N.K. Jemisis on this. I got Morgan Hampton, who was in the Milestone Initiative, who is going to be writing Cyborg as an ongoing. Olivier Coipel, Chris Cross, like so many awesome names in comics that you should know, especially if you're somebody who does follow like creators of color. But it's kind of crazy that we've got all these characters and literally none of them have an ongoing title at DC right now. The John Stewart book just got canceled. Jace Fox Batman, we got 2 issues left and that's done. There's no Joe Mullen series. Vixen's had like 2 pages or 1 issue in an anthology series in like 5 years. Like, I haven't seen a Black Lightning book since I got into comics. Like, there's just so, it's kind of frustrating, right? Because with the other anthologies that you've seen like they had the Pride anthology, and out of that we got the Poison Ivy series, and that's still ongoing. Harley Quinn's still ongoing. Like, there's all these different, when a company claims to value representation, right? You get that representation all year round. So on one hand, I'm excited to get all the stories that are going to be in this anthology, and I plan to read it from cover to cover, all 104 pages. But it does kind of feel like a slap in the face. Like, all right, here, you can have this 1 book or this 1 month out of the year. Even as DC has a partnership with the largest and most successful Black comics company in the history of life, in Milestone, and you wouldn't know that they're about to have their biggest event in the last 30 years unless you were just watching this channel, because I cover it all. Milestone's got a book out like every week this month, in February, and you've heard nothing about it. And so it's like, this has become a long tangent about this book, but it's so weird to get like this celebration of Black heroes while Black heroes are still sidelined at DC. And that's my soapbox for the whole month of February. So anyway, DC Power number 1, the Black History Month anthology. Great Black History Month variant covers, but come on, dog. Like, we can do better. It's got a cover price of $9.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Shout out to Morgan Hampton, and shout out to the Cyborg series that'll come out later this year. And the next book on the DC Comics pull list is The Flash, the 1 Minute War Special, issue number 1, which is a one-shot in the middle of the 1 Minute War. So Flash became a twice monthly title at the beginning of this month, and the 1 Minute War started earlier this month. There's basically like an alien speedster race that has basically invaded Earth, and it looks like they're hunting speedsters to present as a gift to their leader, their emperor, for a wedding or something of that sort. And they alluded to that in the last issue, 791 of Flash. And they're going to talk more about that, this like kind of behind the scenes on this alien race in the 1 Minute War special. So I'm excited about it. It's got a cover price of $5.99. I'm grabbing cover A. So The 2 books on my DC pull list this week cost almost as much as the 4 books on my Marvel pull list this week. I'm going to be paying $16 for these. And let's move on to the indies, where there's one title that I'm very, very excited about. And this is from Image Comics, Peter J. Tomasi. This is Blood Tree, issue number 1. So Blood Tree, if you watched my most anticipated titles of the year, you know that I'm trying to get more into indie comics and read more indies as they come out. This is on the Mad Ghost imprint, which I believe is Jeff Johns' imprint over at Image. But it's Peter Tomasi and Maxim Emi, who I'm not as familiar with. But anyway, I was trying to see who the colorist was. I don't see a colorist on this. It's Maxim Simic. Why are people? Anyway. The solicit doesn't even have the artist's name right. But anyway, this is like a pair of detectives hunting down a serial killer. What I like about Peter Tomasi's writing is he does family very well. And this is like a different spin on a family type series. One question that is raised by the serial killer is like, who has to pay for the sins of the father or the sins of the mother? And so I love that we're going to get the sort of, I say family aspect. This is not a wholesome family book, but like the kind of the dark side of family and the secrets that may be associated with them. As the series unfolds, I think it's going to be a 5-6 issue series. And I'm excited about it. So anyway, Blood Tree issue number 1. It's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm going to grab the A cover. And the last book on the pull list this week, if you know me, you already know. It's The Walking Dead Deluxe, issue 56. I have been slowly filling out my Walking Dead Deluxe collection. Eventually, it's going to get bound into custom hardcovers, a series of custom hardcovers. Until then, they're going to sit in a short box, likely unread. So, issue 56 is out this week. Cover price on it is $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And with that, my indie books are going to cost me $8 this week. And that brings my grand total, for those of you counting at home, up to $41 this week. Not terrible. My budget's usually $50, and I try to stay under that when at all possible. There is one book, though, that's on the maybe list since I've got some room in the budget this week. And that's a book also from Image Comics. It's called Almighty. Almighty, issue number 1. It's written, who's this written by? Let me pull it up. Almighty is written by Edward LaRoche. I think that's how you say that. And he's the writer and artist behind The Warning, which is a series I've never heard of. But it's a 5-issue series. It says Mad Max Fury Road style action combines with the mutated horror of annihilation in this original sci-fi fantasy epic for mature readers. The year is 2098 in a third world America ravaged by economic collapse, anarcho warfare, and a mysterious environmental disaster contained behind a massive wall. A girl has been abducted and a killer has been hired to find her and bring her home. The text on that solicit just sounds amazing, like the most epic action movie ever. It kind of sounds like Man on Fire from Denzel, like mixed with like Mad Max or something like that. So I'm excited for it. And I've never heard of this writer / artist. And so it's something I'm willing to give a shot. It's only $4. So you know what? Let's just move it off the maybe list and onto the pull list. I'm paying $45 for my comics this week. And those are my recommendations. So what are you excited about this week? What are you grabbing? What are you most excited to read? Let me know in the comments down below. By the way, I do give my recommendations every week after I've read some of the comics in my weekly newsletter. It's called This Week in Comics. If you want to get that newsletter, sign up. It's in the first link in the description down below. I'll see you guys in another video very soon. Until then, make sure you read something dope. Peace.